this thing is live. So, pardon me, first of all, for being tardy. Hopefully, you can hear me better now. Let me see. Gotta turn this up. Should be able to hear me better now. I like it on that mode. Oh, that might be too loud. Alright, so, yeah. So, if you don't know, it's not that I'm new to live. However, what I can say is cross post to more pages. I'm learning in myself across Facebook Live, for I've never done Facebook Live before. So bear with me. Cross post to more pages. Let me see what that is. Should I do this? I don't know. Well, yeah, fuck it. Fuck it. We're gonna do that too. Now, comment moderation. Only your followers will be able to leave comments. Commenters will only be able to comment every 10 seconds. Right, that'll help. Only comments over 100 characters will be shown. Protected commenters must have followed you for at least 15 minutes. Let's start here. See how that goes. All right, so look, check it out, right? This video stems from some observations. I think I don't like to use the word trending, but let's just be real. And this isn't even something that's trending. This is something that is been happening for a while to my understanding. If I'm, don't quote me on that, but as far as like, kidnapping of children and stuff like that, I don't know if they're harvesting organs or drinking blood. I don't know what's going on factually. You know what I mean? There's a lot of speculation in the air. There's a lot of unresolved, there's accusations, but there's unresolved issues as far as criminal pursuits go and stuff like that. So we really can't tell as far as who the culprits are for these things that are occurring. There are a lot of articles and comments and posts lately about children being found all over the place when it comes to missing children. You know what I'm saying? So how do we know the concrete truth of the matter except for these posts? And I'm not stating that it's incorrect that these children are not missing. I'm not doing that. What I'm saying is, where is the public outcry? Where is the rage? I see it on social media. I just don't see it on mainstream media. That's all I'm saying, right? And I don't see any courtroom action as well. I know if it had been me doing anything, stealing a candy bar, that I'd have been in jail. You know what I'm saying? There'd have been some type of coverage. I'd have been in the newspaper or something. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's not what this video is totally about. This video is about, or this segment, should I say, is about, do we own our children? Now, that may sound confusing to some, conflicting to others, controversial to some. Some of you may be cursing me out right now by stating, what do you mean, do we own our children? We created them, right? This is my child, X, Y, and Z, brought you in the world, take you out, right? So this is why I enabled this for like people to chime in, comment what they want. This is why I also enabled this for, I didn't put the call-in number. I'm going to do that next time, though. That's my word. I'm going to have a call-in number too, so people can call in and state their stance on this as well. You know what I mean? Because I don't want this to just be a total astrological thing. It might end up that way, who knows, right? But it's not my intent to make this totally astrological, because there may be a component of the audience who doesn't care to tap into that, who doesn't know a thing about astrology, and they'll probably be lost in the sauce like, yo, what is this dude talking about, the sun, the moon, and the stars and all that, And you might just have your personal experiences of why you don't own your children, or why you may think that you don't own your children. So let me just give you an example that doesn't deal anything with astrology, to start it off with, right? So if you're watching this, you just be like, yo, I'm just curious of what the fuck he's trying to say because of the title. So you ever parents out there, you ever had kids that for whatever reason they just were not attracted to being home. They didn't want to be home at all. And this could be from a young age. Um, they may have not wanted to be around you, the father, the mother, whatever the case may be, family members, anything like that. And they just love the streets. They signed up for the streets early. They always wanted to be outside to where they won't clean up their room, they won't clean up the house. They just want to run outside, and you can't get a hold of them because they always want to be outside, right? And then if you chastise them about it, you say, "Yo, why don't you do what I say? I told you to be home at this time. I told you to do your homework first. I told you to clean your room first. Right?" And then they don't do it. So then you're like, "Yo, why?" And they're like, "Oh, because I want to play with my friend Johnny, and because Stephanie said that I had to be there to play house at 2 o'clock." And on you like, "Yo, who the fuck are these kids? Who are these people that are taking my fucking kid away from me?" Right? So it starts at an early age to where a child wants to like leave the household because they have a whole new identity outside of the house. And of course, this can come along with, if we look at this closely, right? This could come along with playing house at home to where a kid feels uncomfortable because they're always being told what to do. Now, some of y'all are probably still out there and you're like, yo, they're kids, you're supposed to be told what to do. But I think, this is my opinion, I think that we are giving the benefit of the doubt by saying, I mean, no, I think we are taking for granted the ability for kids to behave like adults. That's my opinion. I think some of these kids are old souls. They come into this world very cunning, very sly, very intelligent, especially at their young age, they're able to absorb information at a faster pace. And the things that they learn get retained quicker and they remain longer at the ages from 1 to 7, right? So here you are teaching this kid how to be a human. They're learning at a rate that's so fast that you've seen it. They start walking at 1. They start talking at 1. Next thing you know, they're having full sentences and conversations. And then you are underestimating this child to be some child when they're at their highest capacity of intelligence. They might be absorbing information at a higher capacity than you are, the parent, right? So I believe that they are able to perceive when they are being belittled, when they are being talked to like they are an underling or even a slave. Now, some of y'all may think I'm taking this too far, but I don't. I think kids are very intelligent. I was a kid who was very intelligent. I was old, so I could tell. You know what I'm saying? When I was little, I could just tell, like, yo, it's something kind of was creepy, like, yo, I've been here before, something to that nature, right? So, I think about traumatic experiences, and maybe you can relate to traumatic experiences happening around you or to your family or something like that, and you look at the kids, and the kids ain't even crying and shit. These little motherfuckers, they not even crying. They just holding it down, sucking it up. But you don't understand. Again, their intelligence is just like, yo, look at everybody else around me crying and doing the most, right? Why I'ma cry? Ain't I supposed to be the baby? Ain't I supposed to be the child? But everybody else is around me is crying. So they suck it up, they toughen up, they poking their chests out, and they handling it like adults, right? So this also leads into the mentality of what is called hopping off the porch these days, and stuff like that. It's just like you take a kid to the store, for example, right? You show them, you say, get what you want and don't get too much, because I ain't buying all this motherfucking stuff in the store, right? Y'all already know how that talk is. So the kid run around, he already know what, or she already know what they want. They grab their Laffy Tappies, whatever the fuck now laters, whatever it is, they chips, they throw it up on a counter. You go digging in your wallet, you hand them like $1. They get their stuff and they out. Now, mind you, I don't know if you are aware of this, but the first time a kid sees that, they are aware of money and the power of money, what it can do, what it can buy. Not only that, it can buy and get their favorite things. So have you ever been that child that when you get home one day after having this first experience, and you see your mama, you see your father, they counting money, whatever, and you're like, can I get a dollar? Can I get a dollar? And they're like, no, you don't need money. Fuck you need money for? What you gonna do with money? You don't know what to do with money. Now, mind you, you taught this kid already how to go to a counter and pay for some stuff that they want. And it's legit, it's legal. They don't gotta like run out of the store with this shit and run like nah, like they got the money, they can buy this shit, right? You shut the kid whole shit down. Nah, you can't do this. You can't. Stay in a child's place. Get out the room when grown folks are talking and all that super shit, right? Super, I said. I ain't say it's stupid. You raise your kid how you want to raise your kid. But again, think about the level of intelligence of this child who is yours, by the way, right? So some of y'all may not take heed to this. You might be dumbing your own child down just by being overbearing, just by being egotistical and say, yeah, I got a little underling, right? I got a little slave. That's my mini me is my little slave, right? So already I've pitched a way that can counter what my opinion is that Capricorn really owns our children. And I'm going to get into describing Capricorn and what that means in a minute, right? But that's the counter to it. Like parents truly believe that they own their children, right? And the example that I gave is an example of how you can understand what I'm saying. And that's a small example, but it's definitely can resonate with most parents. So now let's say this Capricorn on your parents. Well, first let me explain what Cancer is, right? The sign Cancer in astrology rules over the fourth house, which rules over the home, it rules over the nest egg, it rules over retirement funds or the finances in the second half of an individual's life after they've played the field, after they've known what they've done for play, what they're about to do for real, and the necessities of what it takes to probably acquire more finances than the average person. Now, the Cancer sign is a money sign. Let's get that clear. This sign also, or this place in astrology, also has the tendency to not know what security is in a state of mind, in a state of well-being. So they might not be the wealthiest, but because they have a roof over their head, they have food in the refrigerator, and they have someone in this world that loves them, or at least that they can communicate with on a level that brings well-being, they still think that that's not enough. They get this nudge, this irritative pull that makes them go out into the world to obtain more wealth. They just don't know when enough is enough, right? So this sign and house also does this. Cancer also rules over the mother, it rules over the breast, it rules over nurturing the child. And this is why I say it's going to be either or when it comes to your children. When it comes to astrology, it's going to be Cancer, where the home is, the mother birthing the child, or it's going to be Capricorn. And the reason why I say Capricorn is because Capricorn rules over the building of industry. All right. So if there's a corporate building, however that building is built, the process of that being built, and there's like a head, there's like a pinnacle, like a CEO, like a board of directors, something of that nature, then this is what Capricorn represents. Capricorn represents recognition and status. So if you go for a career, you're talking about things along the line of Capricorn. All right. That's just to sum it up rather briefly instead of drawing it out more than it possibly needs to until you get more versed in astrology, which if you'd like to, you can like the Benjamin page, which more astrology on a Facebook platform will be going up soon, or you can subscribe to my YouTube channels, Benjamin or Private Investigation Enterprises. But subscribe to Benjamin because that's where all the astrology is. So now that I explained Capricorn, let me explain to you the counter of Cancer. So this same child that you as a parent has brought this child into the store, right? You brought your child into the store. You showed them how to get what they want with $1. They now see the power of economics for the first time in their life, right? And if they paying attention, which most kids do, they're going to overhear these parents talk about money, the power of money, what it can do. You want me to loan you $20 for what? Where the last $20 I gave you? Don't be wasting my money. All of these types of talks. I'm just using references, but you can make sense of what I'm saying. You've been in these situations before, right? But kids pick up on all of this stuff. But they see it firsthand how powerful it is at the store. Now, mind you, they may try you. Can I get $1, mommy? Can I get $1, daddy? What are you gonna do with the dollar? I'm gonna go to the store and get me the stuff, the same stuff that I buy when you take me to the store. You too little to go to the store, some of y'all, right? Okay, let's say that's the case. Until that one day comes and you don't got no more margin in the refrigerator and you like, take this dollar and run to the store and go get me a stick of margarine. Hurry up. Look both ways when you cross the street and get your ass right back here, right? Now you're sending them on a mission. I'm going somewhere with this, y'all. Now you're sending your child on a mission. That's your underling, right? That's your minion. That's your slave, possibly, right? Or something you're like, that's my little baby. That's my angelic child. You might not ever let them go to the store till they turn 13. Different strokes for different folks, right? So I'm not just judging you based off of my opinion, but let me finish painting out this scenario for you. So now the kid is going to the store on a mission for you, right? Alone, no chaperone. And the fucked up part about this is they're going to get a stick of margarine. They're going to get a stick of margarine, and that's not the funnest thing for a kid to go to the store and buy, especially when they're going on a mission by themselves. And every other time that they ask to go to the store, get some money to go to the store for themselves, they were shut down. The only alternative or the only opportunity that they got outside of that is by going to the store to get something that they don't even care for. Even if it's to put it in the rice, the kids don't even give a fuck. They don't care if there's rice. They don't care if it's butter, salt in the rice. They don't really like rice, right? They want that same stuff that you allowed them to get when you took them to the store. But parents who I perceive to believe that they own their children use that as a weapon, that power that says, you get what I know what you want, and you'll get it when you're with me. And when I'm in control of the economics and the finances and I'm paying for it, right? But mind you, you send them to the store on this mission by themselves, and their first experience doing that, they can't get nothing for themselves. And some kids that don't feel like they're doing mommy a favor. They do not feel like they're doing daddy a favor. Some will because they're like, oh, they let me go to the store by myself, and they run, they all cheesing, they might trip and fall and scrape their knee on the way. But some other kids are like cursing you out on the way to the store. Like, I know damn well she asked me here, she heard me ask for some Fritos. Like, I want some fucking Fritos. She didn't give me no Frito money. I'm going to get a stick of fucking butter. Right? And if they got a reputation to uphold, like if they've been playing house outside, they might take that to heart too. Somebody, little Stephanie, stop them on the way to the store. Hey, where you going? I'm going to get a stick of butter for my mom's. Like, really? That's not even fly. Like, the kid might lie. I'm going to get myself a Mr. Goodbar. I'm just telling you the type of shit that kids could possibly go through. This is real shit. This is not far-fetched. I'm not being dramatic. This is real shit that children go through. But again, my opinion is I think parents overlook this part of their children growing up for the simple fact that they want to be in control. They want to identify themselves as the owners of these children, right? So let's say on the way to the store to get this stick of margarine, this kid sees people standing on the corner, and they got, all of the clothes that the kids' uncles usually wear, that the kids' aunts usually wear. And it's hip, it's trending, it's in style, right? So they look, they see them. Not only that, they recognize these faces from usually going to the store with their parents at other times. So this time, one of the people standing in front of the store, they speak to the kid like, hey, shorty, what you doing at the store by yourself? You usually with your moms. Where your mom's at? Stuff like that. So this guy's the drug dealer, all right? Yeah, I'm being stereotypical right now because I got to make my point. So this guy's the drug dealer, right? But first he talks to the kid like, it's just a shorty that he know from around the way. I know your moms. I know your pops, stuff like that. Boom. But in the back of this drug dealer's mind, it's like, yo, this kid is by himself now. Let me find out this kid is for the streets. You understand what I'm saying? And the more repetitive store trips that this kid takes, the more that this drug dealer or drug dealers, whoever is standing on the corner, is going to believe that this kid may be for the streets, despite them having parents and all of that, right? So The kid may stop and say what's up because they recognize the faces. Maybe one of them came over to visit one of their aunts or uncles one day, so they know them personally, and they like, yeah, I'm just going to the store for my mom's or whatever. Da, 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 da. So the drug dealer might go in his pocket and be like, all right, no doubt. Here, shorty, get yourself something. Peel a big knot out, give him $2, not $1, $2. Be like, hey, get yourself something. Now the kid see the whole wad of cash though, right? And he sees somebody external outside of the family unit who is providing something for him, that he could not get at home or she could not get at home. Oh, if it's a girl, oh fuck, man. Right? So takes the $2, of course, goes into the store, grin on his face from ear to ear, her face ear to ear, gets the butter, and gets all of the shit that they want. You know what I'm saying? Now, depending on what type of parents this kid had, you never know. Like, they might bury their stuff in the backyard or in one of their friends' backyards on the way, or a flower pot or some shit, just so they can, hide it from their parents. They don't want to get in trouble. Other kids may be bold and just put it in, they stuff it in their pockets, go back home, get their moms the butter, get their pops the butter, dart off in their room, put the candy up. Some might just be open enough to tell. It depends on the type of relationship that they have with their parents. You understand what I'm saying? But 9 times out of 10, if a parent is practicing the behavior that I spoke about, then these children are going to be afraid to come to their parents and say, hey, look what I got from the store. How you got that from the store? I ain't give you no money for that. Oh, because I seen da-da-da-da who be with Uncle Bar and them. And, he gave me $2. So I used the $2 to get the stuff that I asked you for. Some parents might flip the fuck out and beat their kid ass for that, right? When in all actuality, the people at the store did her or him a favor by getting the kid the stuff that he originally or initially asked you for. This might be touching the nerve on some of y'all right now. I don't care. As a matter of fact, I do care. I want it to. If it's touching a nerve, I want it to, and I want to know why. I want to know why would it even touch a nerve? You understand? Because these are the types of things that we do to our children that makes them question our authority as parents, right? Because let's say that that's the case, right? The kid comes back in the house. He's seen how upset the parent is over them obtaining the wealth and obtaining the things that they want outside of the family unit. This is where the child first picks up on competition and a leverage of power. There's now a power struggle identified. And like I told you before, kids are not fucking stupid. So in the back of their mind, whether they're expressing this or not, probably going to be in the back of their mind because the child is scared, intimidated by their parents who believe that they own their children. So they suck it up. They don't state what they want to state. Like, oh, you mad, you big mad because they got me what I wanted and you didn't. What are you, broke? And you parents, y'all don't realize how y'all be slipping sometimes when you be like, yo, I ain't got money for this. I don't got money for that. Turn that lights off. You gonna be paying a light bill around here? I don't got money for that. I don't got money for this. And some of these children, they be children, yo. They be children. And y'all be talking about this stuff, thinking or just not aware that these children now have experienced what it is to be poor or to not have, right? Because you don't give a kid a detailed explanation of why you don't have enough. And some parents will just be breathing a bold-faced lie in that instance. They just know that they got a budget that they're not about to break for the kid to get some candy or whatever the case may be. Only on their terms. Only when it makes them look big for bringing them to the store or whatever the case may be. You know what I'm saying? So let's say they get back, they keep it to themselves, they suck it up, they say, I'm not telling this crazy broad who helped me get this candy. She gonna lose her shit. But in the scenario that they do tell, They see what competition is. So some children are very, like I said, very intelligent, and they may take this as an opportunity to one up their parents in subsequent situations, right? Because when we look at this in the astrological terms, what has just happened is the recognition and the status of the people outside of the home at the store who afforded this child to get them the things that they wanted, that they desired, and asked of their own parents has been afforded to them through people who are recognized in the neighborhood. And okay, in the bigger scheme of things, you may say, oh, but they're losers. They'll be in jail in 5 to 10 years, or they just got out of jail. It's a revolving door. They'll be back. And you may be right. Societal wise, they may be losers. They may be victim to that revolving door, and they won't ever change. They won't ever care about being productive in another type of way, in a legitimate way, right? Granted. However, it doesn't mean that what they've done and what you've done as a parent doesn't contribute to the child's growth at that point in life. It doesn't negate that. It doesn't take that away. So as a child, again, they're absorbing information at a level that is faster than the average human. They're becoming human sponge. Their brains are sponges at this point. So when they identify this person as a recognizable figure, someone who has status, and the more that you tell this child of yours that the person does not have status, the more that the child believes that the person does have status. Now, why is this? Think about this, right? You tell your kid, yo, stop following those gangsters, or stop following these people, or stop, they don't do this and that and the third. They don't make no money and bring it home, or they don't love you like I love you, right? Again, kids are going to see you and be like, you just tripping, you just mad because we doing it over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, they got me what I wanted, what I asked you for first. You said you can't afford it because you don't have the money. You're poor. We're poor. They got it. And now you tripping? Like, they not trying to hear that. Or the bottom line is this. They understand the economics of it, right? They understand the economics of it, and they're using that against you now. Now they're one-upping their own parents. You understand what I'm saying? They now hold the power to pit you against the drug dealer or the external people outside of the home. Now, the drug dealer scenario is just the tip of the iceberg, so to speak, right? And oh man, trying to get some callers in now, y'all. Again, don't mind me. I'm trying to, this is my first time on Facebook Live doing the podcast. So your child learns how, let me see, your child learns how to pit external people against their own parents at an early age. You understand what I'm saying? So now you're at a point where hold on, let me see something. Pardon me, y'all. Yo, Kenji.
Hello?
Yo, can you hear me? Yo, can you hear me?
Hello?
Yo.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yo.
Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You can hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, perfect. Kenji, what's going on, my guy?
Man, it's, manifestation, bro.
Pretty much, right? You on the road right now or what?
Yeah, I'm free, baby. What's up? I've been waiting on this. You know what they say? Waiting on mama, man.
All right, that's what's up. So, yo, look, right? I was just midway through the podcast, right? And I'm on the topic of, do we own our children? And you know, I've came from an astrological perspective, but I've given a description of where like parents feel when parents do feel that they own their children, like they send their child to the store, for example, or you know, they take their child to the store, they buy them something from the store. But if the child was to ask their parents for money to go to the store, they'll give them the third degree, like you don't know what to do with money, or you don't work, you don't pay no bills in this house, so I'm not giving you no money and stuff like that, right? And
Right.
what it does is it presents an opportunity for the child to, you know, go out or go elsewhere and look to where how they can obtain the wealth to get this type of money and stuff like that, or you know, just and if they obtain it from somewhere else, they have now found a way to power trip and pit someone external from the family unit against their parents because they've learned how to obtain the wealth and the things that they desire outside of the house, right? So
Right.
I use that as a Capricorn reference. The external people outside who have recognition, have status, maybe the drug dealer at the store goes in their pocket, you know what I'm saying, gives them a few dollars.
Well, it leads to illegal. It leads to the doing illegal things because naturally, what a kid's gonna do is, oh, you saying I can't do this? They're gonna go out to prove the parents wrong, and it's gonna turn into turmoil because now they're playing and the line stand.
Right. Right. Now let me ask you, right? Do you think children, let's say, and I mean children like probably not in the double digits yet, do you think children are intelligent enough to pick these things up when they're still at the age where their parents are taking them to the store to pay for things and stuff like that?
Okay, let me break that down because when we're looking at this, right, we gotta look at this from children coming out from the womb. When the children come out from the womb, they're already more intelligent than us and more entwined with us because they haven't been programmed into the society. You know, everything's a program. You know, and that's so now when you're taking a child will tell the truth. The child will tell the parent, "Oh, I can do this or I can do that," but the subconscious and that soul of that child it's already been there because that child is just nothing but an old soul. You see what I'm saying?
Got you.
So when you start looking at the parent, you know, as parents, you know, we're taught by our moms and dads and so far on and so far on. So if the parents, if we're always pushing and you keep passing down them same ideologies, right, you're going to be able to control a whole nation. You'll be able to control everybody because now you're just programming your children when their children's not afraid of anything. But you, as a parent, you make them because you can find them. And when you spoke on a Capricorn situation, you remember you did my daughter's zodiac chart. I mean, her natal chart.
That's a fact.
And remember, I said I never confined her. I let her roam and let her be her. She's walking at 7 months, 8 months. She's playing a video game on a computer. 9 months, she's cooking top ramen and a microwave. You know what I mean? A cup of noodles.
Right.
Now we look at her evolve, and she has her own mind where I say one thing to her, and she will come back with something where it's like, whoa, okay. But I don't look at it as talking back. I'm looking at it as expressing. You heard a voice. You just see what I'm saying? Because we all have a voice.
Right.
But we're taught, oh, you do as I say and no talk back.
Right. And belief. And right. Go ahead. Now talk your shit.
And then when you start breaking down, do we own our children? No, we don't own our children because we could take the 5 kids and raise them all the same and they all turn out different.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? And
Absolutely.
we hold that on our heart like, oh, I don't know why he turned out this way or she turned out this way, because you didn't understand what type of children, your star seeds you had. Children are star seeds. You know,
Right.
you take them to the doctor and the doctor give them Adderall. The doctor messes up the equilibrium. You see what I'm saying? But you got to understand and know what you're dealing with. So a lot of the times you got to understand, and when you look in society right now, who's under attack? Your children are under attack because that's the future.
Right. So do you think,
So,
like, yeah, if
Go ahead, brother.
In regards to, all right, because we can slightly use your daughter as an example, because I've done the natal chart reading for her. You've been privy to that information as well. So when she, as you said, not talks back to you, but voices herself and expresses herself, do you feel that that is her own personal power rooted in her natal chart? And in that instance, or in those subsequent instances, she's actually becoming who she's supposed to become and who she will be recognized for, and the status that she will obtain in life?
Yes, yes. Just because the simple fact is, she's her own self. I don't make her. She's a girly. She's not a girly girl, right?
Right. Right.
She doesn't care. She's a beautiful kid. She doesn't care what she looks. She doesn't care what anybody thinks about her. She has her own mind.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And so how I break things down to her, how I go through her pictures and her videos. Those are, when you look at the pictures and the videos, those are different dimensions. Those are different parts of. Those are different people of hers. That's not the same person. Every time you go back and look, that person have grown. That's not the same. So it's evolving force there when you're breaking it down.
Right.
So now they start to realize, like, oh, I was like that. Oh, I was like that. Now they able to see it, like, man. And speaking on that, with her boxing, she's been doing her boxing, and the kid in the parent introduced to my daughter's mom, and the kid and the mom and dad goes, we know all about you guys. That's the reason why my daughter's here, because your daughter influenced my daughter.
So she's already at work.
So now that opened her eyes, and she didn't even know it. You see what I'm saying? So she already has a following already. She's been had a following.
And that doesn't scare you though.
Why?
No,
I understand what she is. I understand what her destiny is.
Right. The reason why I'm framing this question is because I think in other situations that some parents do fear that, and they try to protect their child from advancing at that type of level or being recognized of having some type of status or stature. And this may be relative to their own personal reasons, or maybe to protect them from the industry or, the corporate world and stuff like that. What's your thoughts on that?
It's a good question, because we experienced that already. I mean, you could go on YouTube and go to Gladiator School of Martial Arts, and you can look at her at 5 years old, one of the best 5 years old you ever see. She had 13 million views on Facebook. We had invites to Ellen Show, to Little Big Shot. But any other parent would have probably went through, but I never went through because of the status, and I knew what's going on in Hollywood with the pedophilia and all that old crazy crap. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So it wasn't me. It wasn't about the status. I already knew she was successful already, because she just manifested something already.
Right.
So she wasn't ready. Now she's at the age now, 11 years old, where she's ready. And she understands what I've been teaching her about. You see what I'm saying? So now, when it comes to that status, I don't try to hide her status, because at the end of the day, she is what she is. And I don't try to benefit off of her status. I never have, and I never will, because I know that it's bigger than just money. It's bigger than just money, because now you have a 5-year-old, now 11-year-old. She has a following around the world, and she doesn't even know it.
Okay. So what happens when what happens when the parents get involved, right? And then they become business partners, and they say, "Oh, well, my kid is so great at what they do, I'm going to, be the manager," or something like that.
Well, when you start speaking on that, and I can use myself as that situation, like I said, we're not chasing fame. We're not chasing fame, and we're not chasing money. That will come, because we are the fame and we are the money.
Right.
People don't understand that. So when you're breaking this down, I'm involved, but I know what's going on subconsciously.
Right.
So as you spoke in her natal chart, when you spoke about her natal chart, that was one of the things that you spoke about. She has to be careful with contracts. Prior to I even known this.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So I could have put her in on the little big shots, and she could have been instantly there. But now you look at all the kids that started young at Disney's. They all mentally messed up now.
Right. That's a fact.
So managing it is all an in-house thing. Everybody's a part of this. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Everybody's a part of this. It's a family thing because now you put it as a family thing. Now the energy, the frequencies, and the vibrations are higher. They're elevating. They're not stagnant.
Right.
Everybody's a part of her journey. It takes a village to raise a family. Remember that saying?
I remember that saying. That actually clicked and worked when we was growing up. It did.
Yeah.
Word.
Well, that's what I understand, you know, and we own our children. So the Pandora box was actually the curse. The curse was actually the children, for the simple fact is that now when you have children, you lose sight of self. Now everything with parents is, oh, I got to do this for my kids. I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to do this. When in reality, whatever you do as the parent, the kid will follow.
That's strong.
So if you instill the right knowledge into your kids, just like a baby cub when it's with the mama, it follows her around and it does, and she sets it free with the tools that they need to survive in nature.
Right. So
If you saw your spiritual portion, the true spiritual knowledge with your kids, they will always follow the spiritual and not the physical, because the physical is the illusion. It's not what it's always seen. You know what that's saying, the grass ain't greener on the other side.
right, flashing lights.
Yes, sir.
So let me ask you, because you know I started this first episode in a way that, you know, whoever calls up and stuff like that, or whoever participates in the comment section, whatever, that, you know, I wouldn't totally put it on astrology. However, you know, I got an astrological following, and I can explain things rather well using astrology. Because you know, you got the natal chart of your own child. Do you think it's beneficial to have that information, although you've probably half of it you've already known about your child? Do you think it's still beneficial for parents to have their children's natal chart, or do you think it's something that is taboo?
Absolutely. It's beneficial for everybody to have your natal chart, because you got to look at this, right? When we're raised as children, we're raised based on physical things, right?
Right.
And the physical things is not the true soul purpose. So when you break down the natal chart is the true soul purpose. So I'll give an example. With me knowing a lot prior to the natal chart of my daughter, right?
Right.
Now I had got her natal chart. Now I'm able to push her in the right directions of the things that is already inside of her already.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? If I never would have seen the natal chart, I never would know the correct things to push her in, to push her towards, to have her gravitate towards, so she can actually master her soul and the true meaning of knowing thyself. And that's the purpose of the natal chart, because it's know thyself. Your destiny not here is to work and do all this stuff. That's not the true soul purpose. That's why you come and reincarnate back, and that has to deal with deja vu. This deja vu is just, this is the last time this is where you got. So you got to get past that point. So when you're breaking down the natal chart, you know your true meaning, your true purpose.
Right. Okay, so
it's really
is
sorry about that,
beneficial.
brother. It's really important for the natal chart, because now it opens up your eye to certain entities of the soul, and you'll be able to elaborate on those situations to have is beneficial for not just one, but for the whole unit.
Got you. So the opposition between Capricorn and Cancer, do you think it is relative, or at least valid, to state that opposition has a lot to do with what's going on right now? Like, if there's a push and pull aspect in regards to corporate or, you know, just recognition and status in contrast, excuse me, to the family unit, the home unit, and things of that nature. And I don't mean like, I don't necessarily mean the entertainment industry. I know a lot of tarot readers and some astrologers, well, just people in general, align the devil with the entertainment industry. But in astrology, it rules over the 10th house, which is Capricorn, which is merely career, status, recognition, and the building of corporation, the process of it. But what's your take on that? Do you think that that opposition has a push and pull effect on the children? Does it pull them out of the home quicker than it might? And I guess you can use your situation because it's more, you can actually use application and not just a theoretical stance.
Yes. So watch this, right? So when you're dealing with corporation and you're dealing with all this, right? One thing about people get the misconception of all it is titles. Titles have limitations. You see what I'm saying? So if you don't understand corporation, how corporation works, then you don't understand it's a game. You see what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. I know what you're talking about.
So, like I teach my children, you have your own corporation. You don't need to go work for someone else when you work for yourself. Why go do that and spend this for yourself when there's more you can attain more in life and this dimension? You see what I'm saying?
Right. So
the status is not even about the status, because if you have a true pure soul and with good intentions and no agendas, the status is going to come.
That's an automatic.
Everybody's on the search for truth right now. And there's so much people out there, just so much causing so much confusion.
So do you think people are desperate now, and that's what's escalating the confusion? Because now the freedoms are at hand for individuals, like you said, to obtain status just by doing what it is, just by doing them. Because, you know, you have individuality in the palm of your hand. Like I'm holding this phone right now. I can reach swaths of people in this very instant over this radio airwave. So do you think the induction of this process is scaring a lot of the keepers, the gatekeepers, and the controllers of who are in power of that? I guess you can say the recognition and status of others, the control of that. Do you think they're in fear, or they're desperate and they're running, and perhaps that they are the elicitors of this confusion?
Of course. That's why you have people like Tekashi 6ix9ine, people like Cardi. That's why you have, this is the purpose of these entertainers, right? You're giving your energy, you're searching for fame and status and stuff like that through the eyes of the eyes and the perception of someone else who really, like I say, you don't know what goes on behind closed doors.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So if you don't know what goes behind closed doors, in your mind you're thinking it's one way, but when you get down to the rabbit hole, it's deeper than the rabbit hole. So now if we have, like you said, this phone is our voice, everything is a weapon, it's a frequency. When we speak, it's a frequency. You know, you draw people into you. That's a weapon.
Right.
So you can create your own Bible if you want to in 20, 30 years because you have that following. And if you go back to the story of Yaqub and go research the story of Yaqub, that's exactly what he did.
He extracted people to a different frequency. You saying like the
Well, yeah. I mean, when you go look at, you know, I ain't gonna spill all the beans, you know, because I want people to act to the research, because that's what it's really about. Research, you know, it's really about research. People take time to be on Facebook, be on Instagram, but it's not doing anything for the self, you know. But when you start to research it, it opens up certain portions of the brain that is turned off. It's like, you know, ding, ding, ding. So when you start looking and research, you can put two and two together, and it's going to come out the flow all day. Right. It's all about decoding. It's all about, like the Maze Runner, it's all about decoding and analyzing things and coming up with it. Because everything you need to know is already inside of you. But a lot of people look outside of themselves for something that's inside of you. Because the battle is only with you. You came in this dimension by yourself, so you're going to go out by yourself. So you're battling with your higher self and lower self. Left brain, right brain.
Right. So let me ask you this, right? This will be my last question for this episode, Kenji. And I let me take this time out to thank you as well for coming on and speaking. I appreciate it a lot, bro. So do you think that these gatekeepers or the people who were in control, do you think that they, how should I put it? How should I put this? Do you think that they are setting up different types of ideologies to like basically to adopt the children? So like, let's look at politics, for example. Like, you vote for either these things in this container or you vote for these things in that container. Like you said, they're after our children. Do you think that the children, put it this way, let me rephrase this. Do you think, let me put it back on the parents. Do you think that the parents, when they speak to their children and they say things from a lack of, right? Like, we don't have this, or we don't have that. And once you start paying bills around here, X, Y, and Z, this, that, and the third, right? When parents speak like that to their children, do you think that it's inadvertently telling their children, I don't have enough, you got to go out there and get it for me or for us? Or, when they say, I got to get it for your little brother, I got to get it for your little sister, you always want something, X, Y, and Z. Do you think that that's perpetuating and just building a feeling inside of this child that puts a burden on them and stress on them at a young age and perhaps makes them go out and do things that maybe they shouldn't have to do?
Yes, because you got to look at it like this, right? When you look over in Africa, right? Mm-hmm. You got these people over in Africa, these children ain't got nothing, but they can take everything around them and build a wind turbine. They can build a solar thing. You see what I'm saying? So everything is already inside of you. So the problem is that the parents don't emphasize the kid's creation enough. The imagination is the creation, you know what I mean? Right. That's part of manifestation, the imagination and the creation, right? So if I'm telling my child that, oh, you got to go out there and pay bills and do that, I'm not going to tell my child that. I'm going to tell my child, look, the objective of this is not to have your bills over $1,000. The objective of this is not to have you move out at 18 and 21. For what? What's the purpose? You can live here how long as you want to live here. But we're all going to put everything together and become one unit. Because when I do put you out and you go live here, now something happened like the coronavirus happened, right? That happens, and then now everybody's out of work. Now you got your children either selling drugs, either doing illegal things, prostitution, you know what I mean? Just to survive because they don't want to go back home. Right. You see what I'm saying? So the psychological stance on it brings the children into their lower selves, and now they're engaged in things that's going to ruin their life. Like, I grew up with nothing, bro. Literally, I grew up with nothing and all that. I just made it look good at the end of the day.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I never compromised myself or never lowered myself to do things that I knew that I shouldn't be doing. Plain and simple.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, with that being said, it pretty much fall back on the parents. If the parents don't know themselves, how they gonna know their children and know what's best for their children?
Right.
Just because what works for you don't work for me.
Right.
I'm not a corporate house guy. That's not me. I don't want to recycle the same thing over and over because you're just, it's insanity. Repeating the same thing over and over again. When you're supposed to evolve. If you're the same person you was a month ago, a year ago, 10 years ago, you never evolved.
Right.
But once you change, you evolve.
Right.
And it's about evolving. It's all about evolving and understand that, a lot of people don't understand this, but when you're energy, you never kill energy. So your kids rebirth you. It's a cycle that keeps going on and it never ends. See, that's what they don't want you to know. So
Yeah.
the information they don't know. So, and I'll give you an example. When the parents say, you look just like your daddy, or you look just like your grandpa. That's an example. We get that a lot.
Right.
I know that ain't him and reincarnate back, because it's energy. You can't kill energy. Only thing you can do is redirect it.
That's a fact. That's why in a lot of astrological charts, you can find out what sign the parents or the grandparents are or were by looking at their moons and stuff like that. So that's a fact.
Right. See, and remember, it's in the genetic. It's already in the genetics, and it's coded in your DNA already. Your genetic DNA. Everybody has a genetic code. See, what we looking at this, and the problem is everybody looking at this from a physical point stand.
Right.
You got to look at this deep into your soul.
Right.
When you look at genetics and understand your genetics, and you understand things like that, it's easy to tell. It's easy to know.
There's
like
a meta version.
Like I call you and have a conversation with you. We had a conversation about your son. We have a conversation about our daughter.
Right.
You know, we can't hold all the information within ourselves. So sometimes you got to talk to like-minded people.
That's a fact.
You see what I'm saying? And it's giving you more options. So we can take 5 people and ask them 5 questions. You got 5 different views, 5 different perceptions, including yours. That's 6. Now you have 6 different ways that you can learn something new. Because if we see an accident, 5 people see an accident, everybody gonna have a different view of it.
Right. That's
Make
a
sense?
fact. No, absolutely. And to piggyback on that note, like when we were discussing things about our children and stuff like that, I noticed that other things started unfolding that made the communication lines between people external from us run smoother. And, you know, I can tell that was a subsequent thing, you know what I'm saying? Something like a causality that had something to do with the opening up of those channels, of those frequencies. So, I mean, yeah, there's a meta version of us that...
Watch this. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Nah, go ahead.
Watch this, right? I'm gonna make it real. I'm gonna make it real simple, right? This is the problem with the children and the parents. The children and the parents is not on the same frequency. Why do I say that? Because a lot of children, a lot of kids out here are afraid to disappoint their parents because of how their parents is gonna look at them, right?
Right.
It's no purpose, no point to disappoint your parents when you're supposed to be best friends with your children, because your children will be able to come to you and talk to you about anything.
Right.
But when your children hide things from you and they're afraid of you, that messes up everything. That messes up the unity. That messes up the bond, because they can hide stuff some small critical piece.
Talk your shit, bro.
You feel me? So that's you know, you can't look at it. You can't look at it from, you know what I mean, a physical point stand. You know what I mean? And that's the thing with people get misconception with astronomy, right?
Uh-huh.
Because one, astronomy is not physical. It's your sole purpose. It's the stars. When you look back about the Mayans and the Olmecs, this is what they operated off.
Right.
You can predict.
So why are these generations so disconnected from that fabric and so involved with the material that they don't even balance it out?
Mainstream society is pushing the bag, right? And that's when they say money is the root of all evil, right? Mm-hmm. So when you out chasing the money, you're going to do anything for the money, right? But when you understand you are the money by the way of thought, because you create your own reality, you see what I'm saying? Then
Right.
you understand the true value of money. Now everything completely changes for you.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
So that goes back to work for self.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So now they create a barrier. They create a barrier with the children.
Right.
And what they push rap, which is the rap trap, and they push sexuality with them.
Right.
So that's why you get, oh, I can't find a good man. Oh, I can't find a good woman. Because you're looking at it from a physical standpoint, and it's not about physical. It's about being mentally connected. That's why back in the day, you get to 30 years plus marriage. After a certain age, they stop having sex, but they connected mentally. So that's unconditional love.
Right.
But unconditional love and relationships now are based off of physical, and we know that only lasts for so long. They get old.
Right.
Quick.
Which is probably, that definitely gives proper information for, if not the next video, definitely for another podcast episode, somewhere along those lines. So we've hit the hour point, and I may extend these episodes longer in the future. So, this is my first time doing it on Facebook Live, so I'm just getting my feet wet and learning this platform. But I did stage this for an hour, so I want to thank you for coming on and expressing your points of views, so the audience could get a different perspective of how this whole thing is transpiring. And if you're willing, would you be willing to come on another episode? If you know,
man, listen, man, look, time don't exist, man. You gotta understand that, right? In the spiritual realm, we can go forward, we can go backwards. So I want to leave y'all with one thing, right? One thing I want to leave everybody with is this: when you start looking at everything, look at everything through the lenses of energy, frequencies, and vibrations, right? If you cut out all the negative, you cut off all the negative energy, you don't entertain it, it won't survive, it won't exist in your reality. And then when you do encounter with people that is filled with toxic and negative energy, you immediately feel it. Your life will change because you control what exists in your reality. You have that. And that goes back to that saying. Remember we used to say this when we were young, oh, you're dead to me.
Right.
And that's what it is. If you don't entertain it and it doesn't exist, you don't give it energy or give it power over you.
Right. And you're saying the more that you practice, the absence of that type of toxicity. Right.
Yeah, exactly. So watch this. When you're in a relationship and you're arguing with your significant other, it takes two to argue, it takes two to do all that. If one don't entertain it, the other one gonna shut down. But when you entertain it, it escalates and escalates and escalates because that other person is feeding off of that. So I'm not gonna entertain feelings. I'm only gonna entertain facts.
Right. That needs to get an episode by itself because and I think dealing with genders as well on relationships, because that type of energy has heightened. We spoke about that a little bit too. That type of energy has heightened in the past year. This whole 2020, that whole vibe has increased. So
Yes, indeed. Look at why has it increased? I'll tell you why it's increased. A lot of people don't even know, right? You take 20 and 20 to put it together. That's 400 years. That's 400 years of the spell that's being lifted. That's why everything is coming to light. Not only that, when you look at the sun is giving off so much amount of energy because you have the pole shifting. So you can tap into this energy. You can tap into this energy and manifest. And this is crazy, right? My daughter's mom, I've been, telling her about, manifestation, and she actually, she's good with numbers. So she went to go to the casino the other day.
Okay.
She lost some money. She went back the next day. She won $2,000. After she won $2,000, she started listening to this manifestation thing and just showing her, if you can see it, you can believe it. So she closed her eyes, and she listened to this on way to the casino. 2 days later, after her mom hit for 10,000, she hit for 10,000. And this is the second time they both hit for 10,000 2 days after each other.
Wow. So they're like in the vortex, getting the whole stream of that. Right.
Yeah. It's all about, it's kind of like this. And when you lose something and you're looking for it, you never find it. But when you're not looking for it, you find it.
Right. It comes right in your lap.
Right. It comes right in your lap. So what does that tell you? Don't go out pushing the issue. Let the universe does it. Let the universe work for you in your favor. And no matter if the message is good or bad, even in the bad messages, you get all the good answers you need. But you're looking at it wrong. You got to take the good out the negative, because this whole universe we still in a classroom. It's one big classroom. So you're learning your lesson. You're here to learn a lesson.
It's a fact. It's a fact. To the know-it-alls out there, listen and learn. Listen and learn something right now.
Students, we gotta be master students, brother.
Right.
It doesn't stop, because there's so much knowledge, and we've been taught wrong.
Knowledge is
to
infinite.
be oppressed and enslaved. So if you want to know the truth, go back and study ancient knowledge, because the world went off of what? Ancient knowledge, not a belief system.
Right. Gnostics.
You know, when you think about it, look at the women having babies now. Why are they all getting cut out? And now they have problems when their baby get cut out. Back in the day, when the doctor came and delivered, you can have 13 kids, bro.
Right.
So now if you got 13 kids and your siblings got 13 kids, you got a whole community, you got a whole tribe. That's dangerous, bro. And if everybody's on the same frequency, that's dangerous.
Right.
This
Strong
is bigger
points.
than life. It's bigger than it. It's bigger than it. So you got to know where you come from to know where you're supposed to be going. And how do you know where you come from? You have to go and research. I've been on this journey for 4 or 5 years. I literally, bro, I had everything physically. But I wasn't happy, because I was in search of self. I went through a transformation. A year ago, I lost everything. Bounced back in 7 months by the way of thought, just staying positive.
Right.
I had job opportunities for the city. I had all this supervisor, but I never took it, because I knew my worth. I knew I was greater than this. And then when you broke down my natal chart, that was everything. That was everything for me. That was everything for me. And still to this day, I still replay because I try to memorize it.
Right.
Because I have encountered certain situations that start to come. And then the doors open for you. Opportunities.
Now, that's a fact. I should do the same thing. I should record my own. I still to this day haven't recorded my own, so I can remember my own. But I'm getting there. It thrills me to be able to do that for you.
Well, I think a couple of times you was breaking down, oh, you got to be careful for this, you got to be careful for that. And it's crazy, because I come through and dealing with these situations, bro, where I'm in it, and before I make a decision, I go back and I listen to that natal chart, and now when I listen to the natal chart, and I go, oh, this is what he was talking about, so how am I going to handle this?
Right.
You know, so that's what it breaks down to, bro. You know, and not only that, when you get rid of the negative energy and you get rid of all that, you raise your frequencies and vibrations, and you're able to accomplish more in life itself.
Got you. So, all right. So, is there okay, so you said you're not on Facebook, because I'm about to say, where can anyone else contact you if they want to get in touch with you and stuff like that? Or what's the name of that channel again, to where we can see clips of your daughter doing her thing?
It's Gladiator School of Martial Arts. When you click on it, you'll see a little girl with a blue, like a turquoise shirt. And, you know, this went on through. I didn't put it on YouTube. It went on Facebook, and it got reshared by kickboxing sites, all sites, 13 million. And I broke it down to her. I said, look, you did this. Nobody can ever take this away from you. And by me knowing, I told her, you're rich already. You don't even know it.
Right. Just that ability.
If you had 13 million views then, and that's when we had that conversation of we are working on a documentary, The Evolution of a Species.
Right.
So, but if somebody want to get in contact with me and reach me, you can reach me at 2T's, as the email is 2TTS.co@gmail.com.
Got you. That's
so
a fact.
2TTS.co@gmail.com. And one more thing I want to leave with y'all. When you said how the children could go out with the situation with the parents and the children, this is what I did. I know my daughter was going to be successful, so I started her own clothing line. She has her clothing line, and that's that part of the email, 2T's, and her clothing line calls 2T's and Co. So I started her that. So she's actually an entrepreneur already. Going into high school prior into going to college. So that's
Gotcha.
ways that, as parents, you can put your kids in position
In
to be in
position.
control of the destiny.
Right, that's a fact too. I help my kid with his channel and all that, you know.
Yeah.
He's becoming a
I mean,
beast.
yeah,
He's
you teach them. This is the thing. Like, you got to remember, we didn't get this knowledge, and it wasn't meant for us to get this knowledge because we wasn't ready for this knowledge.
right,
So when we got this knowledge, you give this knowledge to your kids while they're younger, and as they're growing up, only thing they can do is evolve.
right, and it's already embedded in them.
Yeah, and they help you
You
because
think?
remember, questions is answer. Like, my daughter said this, that if Jesus made the devil, God made the devil, why he just didn't kill the devil? And I had to break it down. So I said, baby, that's a good question. But when you look at that, you can't look at that from a religion point of stance. You got to look at it as positive and negative. Everything has similarity, positive and negative. Positive, negative. The universe, the microverse, the macroverse. The inner you, the outer you. You're not the same person that look in the mirror. So without positive and negative, it won't be balanced. So positive, negative bring balance. If you give too much, people will take advantage of you.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be balanced. Everything is about being balanced all the way around. You have too much of one thing, you off balance.
Right.
So, I mean, bro, it's not, honestly, it's simple, but it's hard because at the end of the day, I think you can agree with me, bro. It's not easy working on yourself.
Oh no, it isn't. It takes a lifetime. No, it really
It's
is.
not easy.
Nah.
But it's a beautiful thing. And why do I say that? Because the simple fact is, when you realize how dope your soul is, oh man, it takes you to a whole nother dimension. Man, people got dope souls out here. Your soul is dope, and when you're dealing with somebody, if that person don't know the real you as your soul you, they would never understand you. That's part of the reason why us as Pisces, we're the most understood sign.
Mm-hmm.
Based on them, and this is fact.
I think it's because of the time, though, the materialistic time that we're having. You know what I'm saying? The excess of it, anyway, the excessiveness of it.
Well, remember, we're 75% mentally somewhere else, and we're only 25 here. This is why you notice most Pisces like to isolate themselves. Now we're doing sneaky, just that when we isolate ourselves, we're able to go in to our box and
Right.
able to come out with answers that we need. And it takes for us to be in alone because we are really high energy, high frequency people, so people can drain our energy. You know what I mean? So we
Yeah.
need that time. Because it's physically draining when you go into that other dimension and you're seeing things and you're like, it takes a lot out of you to be able to transform back and forth.
That's a fact. That's why I be pushing the astrology, because I believe people would do much better when they knew someone. Like if they seen their spiritual report card, a lot of people wouldn't be playing with each other the way they playing out here with people and stuff like that. Like a lot of that come to a cease, man, because
Yeah.
you got no choice but especially when you do it yourself. You be like, oh, okay, this is me.
You know why? That's a good point. That's a good point. You know why that's a good point you just made, brother?
Why is
Because
that?
that's a great point you just made. Because what you just said is so 1,000% correct. Because when you do and you learn this astrology, right, you won't have no problems in relationships with any of kind because you will understand this person is not ever on your frequency. And if you're going to decide to deal with this person, you got to come down instead of bringing that person up. Simple.
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 Right. So y'all heard it first. Go get y'all natal chart read if you haven't done it already. Learn yourself at least first, your spiritual DNA, before you continue to come at people all sideways and stuff like that out here, because the accessibility of information is very rapid and accelerated right now, and you don't know what you got in store for you if you keep playing with people. I don't know why I just said that, but I felt like I just had to say that, B.
Yo, that's the point. That's a good point. Look. Watch this, man. Watch this. Exactly what you just said, right? And this is another thing. Like, remember you spoke to me about a couple situations and stuff, right? And I broke it down to you in a different way. And you was like, okay, I get that. I understand that. But we all have special entities. We all have special gifts, special psychic abilities. abilities or whatever the case may be. But if you don't know your astrology, you don't know your natal chart, you don't know what these abilities are.
Right. Right.
That's the purpose of it.
Right.
And you might be a person that is, you can just put anything together, and you out here working for somebody who don't know your worth.
That's why I brought that up.
So you selling yourself short. Don't sell yourself short.
Because people come to me and I can tell that they don't know themselves totally quickly. And then I'm a potential guide, but then they fuck it off because they want to be ignorant to it or they want to have fun instead and stuff like that. And, you know, right, their ego get involved and shit like that. And it's just takes a different turn that is possible, that can possibly drain me, and I ain't with it.
Yeah.
I ain't with it.
As Pisces, you don't understand. As Pisces, we healers.
Right.
We heal. We share knowledge. We share wisdom. Sometimes as Pisces, they think we're cocky and they think we're know-it-alls. No, we're not. We're just sharing the information. It clearly says our people lack of the knowledge.
That's a fact. That's a fact. All right, yo. You know what? All right, we going to end it now, Kenji, because I got so much ways to create new episodes now just based off of this episode alone. So yo, again, bro, thanks for chiming in, man. I truly appreciate this, man. Truly.
Oh man, it's all love, man. This is what the world needs, man. You know what I mean? That's what the world needs, man. You don't need to break stuff down, man. We need to build each other up, man. That's what they don't want to do. You know what I mean? They want you to hate, but it's not about that. Because everybody comes to the table, bro. So with that being said, man, peace, love, man. I really appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak to the people and come on your platform. So peace and love, man. I'll be in contact with you.
No doubt.
All right, fam. If anybody needs to reach me, hit me up. I mean, I put the gave them shout out to the email. You know what I mean? Or they can actually go through YouTube, and we'll figure something out. But each one at the end of the day, you know. So one of my sayings is, I'm not a role model. I'm a real model.
Got you. Real shit. So yo, I posted your email information on the live platform on the comment section too, so it'll be easier for people to grasp.
Okay, and if eventually, I mean Facebook or something, but I just do it now because when you look on the Facebook and Instagram, it's just nothing but negativity and it's just miserable people dealing with miserable people. So it's not enough uplifting. So that y'all know, want to know, but I don't have that type of platform. But I will get a platform sooner or later.
No doubt. I can attest to that. It took me that long to get here and do this primarily for that reason as well. So you're not alone in that. I understand.
Okay, bud.
All right. Talk to you later, man.
All right.
All right.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. Yeah. So everyone, that was Kenji. That's my guy, West Coast. Shout out to California. Shout out to everybody in Cali, east to the west. And we just bridging the gap spiritually, mentally, and touching on notes that are physical as well. So, it was great to get another person's perspective on that. Kenji is versed somewhat in astrology as well as other ancient studies and stuff like that. So we be kicking it about stuff like that. And, so my thing is now, right, in closing, when we look at, and the climate is definitely set for this right now, right? Parents, when you're involved with your children, understand that, and this I'm closing in astrology. Understand that wherever there's recognition and status and career, and this goes for every individual, this doesn't exclude you. excuse me, as parents, it doesn't exclude you. You have this as well. Especially if you're a career person, you can attest to this, right? Your children will have the same thing, right? And astrology as a whole is different parts to a whole, but no part is bigger than the whole. So it behooves one to understand that there's going to be a place for your child to also obtain this recognition and this status. Now, some instances in astrology, this is hidden or cloaked very well. Like if your child has a son in the 12th house, they may not get the recognition that other people feel they deserve and stuff like that. But you gotta if you knew these things about yourself and about your children, you would know how to manage and talk to them. You would know how to manage yourself. You wouldn't be mad at the industry and point at this executive producer and say it's their fault, X, Y, and Z. The more you know, the better it is that you're able to grow, right? So this is why I put the astrological twist on things, because ever since I got involved with astrology, from that point forward, I've been able to explain everything that occurs with astrology. So some of you, and correct me if I'm wrong, you might want to go through life and not know things. All right, cool, I get that. However, I'm going to just leave you with this. Be cautious of how you address people, of how you talk to people, because the sensitivity that's carried with a Pisces is heightened right now with everyone. We've left the Piscean age to come into the Aquarius age. So that level of sensitivity that hovers over us alone and, other water signs and stuff, that is now being magnified on a magnitude of people now. And if you think I'm playing, like, in contrast to me, I feel like I'm tougher than a lot of individuals. And I mean tougher, I mean skin is tougher than a lot of other individuals, because you just say the slightest thing at people these days and they get out of whack. It's like they're not used to it, or they're not used to the acceleration, the speed of that being able to happen to them. When in the past it was just their neighbor had to do that, or when they went to school they had to be faced with that. Now if they online, they got to be faced with that. If they go to school, they got to be faced with that. If they go home, they got to get faced with that. And all of this information being absorbed is going to take its toll on people. So like Kenji said, the type of information that you observe, people don't do their research, or people, the more knowledge you have, the better off you will be. Search for that knowledge if you feel like you're experiencing too many things that are beneath you, or that drains you, or that has too much of a negative impact on yourself. Go try to study some ancient knowledge, or go try to find out knowledge of yourself. And with that being said, I'm out. You will be informed when the next video will be, when the next podcast episode will be. Until then, we're going to play it by ear, or play it by eyes. All right, I'm out.